Fresh off a holiday weekend, this is Pub Politics. Ric Garni along with Wes on the Republican side, Twitterless Phil Bailey on the Democratic side. We began with politicians behaving badly. Sadly, we talk about this sort of thing every once in a while. The latest is State Representative Ted Vick, Democrat from Chesterfield County, who was going to run for a congressional seat, the new District 7 seat, or 7th Congressional District. He has bailed out of that because of his arrest. There was a DUI involved, expired gun license involved, speeding involved, had a passenger in his car who was not his wife. So there's a lot of issues going on now with Representative Ted Vick. I tried to say it the nicest way possible. So first of all, let's get to the decision for him to pull out of running for Congress. Did he have any other choice here, Wes?
No, I don't think so. And listen, I just think this is indicative of Democrats and their problems always going out, getting drunk with guns and 21-year-old girls, right? I mean, because every time a Republican gets in trouble, it's an example of the Republican ethics, right? You know, with Ken Ard and everything else Phil says. So I'm glad finally we see the true colors of all Democrats carrying guns illegally with their 21-year-old girls.
Well, your response, Phil?
I was thinking that this may help Representative Vick with his NRA endorsement, going around with it with packing heat. But you know, this was a stupid move on Representative Ted Vick's part. I think dropping out of the congressional race was the right thing to do. And no, I don't think this is indicative of the Democratic Party in South Carolina.
So let's take a look at the race now. I mean, this is a district that's not, it's outside of the Midlands, but still it's a new district, and it technically, whoever wins will be representing that part of South Carolina in the United States Congress. Wes, if you had to handicap it now, who is the favorite to win this race?
Whoever the Republican nominee is. I mean, listen, it's still going to be hard.
It's
not.
Who's it going to be? Who's the Republican going to be?
I think it's wide open over there right now. Honestly, there's Andre Bauer, Rice, Prosser. It's wide open. I will tell you that it is not a safe Republican district. It is a swing Republican district. So a Democrat actually does have a good chance of winning that seat.
A lot of Democrats, heavy hitters, came out and endorsed Britton from the Horry County Attorney, Phil. Any chance for him that West seems to think it's at least originally it's going to be a Republican winning this seat. What your thoughts on that?
I think Britton has a tremendous shot. Being from Horry County, that is the population center of the district, particularly if he's running against a Republican like Andre Bauer and all the baggage that the entire state of South Carolina knows about Andre. And Andre has never really done well over in the PD. I think Britton has a real opportunity. You saw the Democratic leadership coalesce behind him today on a press conference call, and I was proud of the comments that were made today.
By the way, just before we leave this, was that what Wes said about Democrats and Ted Vick based on what Democrats have said about the Ken Ards and things like that? I mean, is that fair, or is it apples and oranges in your mind?
I mean, I don't recall ever saying that Ken Ard is indicative of the entire Republican Party as a gun-toting alleged DUI suspect. No, I think Wes just made a poor joke just a few minutes ago.
Well, I am joking, but every time a Republican gets in trouble in South Carolina, the Democrats like to throw it out and say that's an example of Republican behavior. I'm joking about this being an example, but I just want to throw out the Democratic hypocrisy here.
All right. Well, maybe it's
bad behavior is a bipartisan issue.
Obviously, it is. I was going to say it's not safe to be in either party apparently these days. One other topic we want to talk about: this Governor Haley ethics probe drags on. The ethics committee dropped it a couple of weeks ago. Then they decided to pick it back up. Now they want documents from Governor Haley. I know they're meeting again on Wednesday morning the ethics committee is to take the next step in this. State lawmaker Representative Joan Brady said she's going to recommend it going to the Attorney General's office. Wes, how much of this investigation is political and how much of it is necessary for a functioning democracy?
About 98% of it's political. I mean, almost the entire thing. The Democrats demanded it. James Smith demanded it. It is all political. I'm going to tell you the other thing that's political is Joan Brady asking that the Attorney General take this. The fact of the matter is Joan Brady has an election in 2 weeks. She wants this out of her court. She wants to give it to someone else so she doesn't have to deal with it going into her own election. And for Joan Brady to act like that, I think is completely irresponsible. The woman needs to do her job. If the ethics committee is going to take it, Joan Brady needs to man up, or woman up in this case, and do her job.
Phil?
I agree with your assessment on Representative Joan Brady. She is in a competitive election in November. She is a vulnerable. Beth Bernstein's running a great campaign, and I predict will be the next representative from that district. But this is, I mean, it's always going to have the political tinge to it. But a lot of this is having to get to the facts, get to the truth, and get to whether or not laws were broken. And that's the responsibility of the House Ethics Committee. I think Representative Joan Brady needs to do her job. I think the entire committee needs to do their job and conduct a full and complete investigation.
Ultimately, what would you like to see happen when this thing all is said and done, Phil?
Besides the governor kicked out of office?
What do you want the end game to be?
I'd like to see the truth out there. I think a definitive answer of whether or not Governor Nikki Haley broke the law and lobbied as a member of the South Carolina House of Representatives.
It just seems odd to me, Wes, because a couple of weeks ago they came out, this same committee, and said that they didn't find anything, and now yet they decided to reopen it again.
Yeah, it's because the Democrats are just putting a lot of pressure on the committee, on the House as a whole. I mean, again, I think this is about 98% political, and it's a shame that we're having to deal with this. Nikki Haley's doing an amazing job bringing in jobs. I don't know why we have to distract her with anything else.
Wes, Phil, guys, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you next week. All right, back to you.